shot that you just saw is an idea that I've had for a little while, and I wanted to kind of figure out how to do that shot, that kind of pouring the sweet shot over the packet. It took a little while to actually figure out how to pull that off, make it look decent, light it properly. But that's what I've done in this video, and that's what we're going to look at, and I'm going to kind of show you how I did it, so that you can maybe try it yourself, try something similar, maybe just get an idea or a few ideas from it for your own videos. The first thing I did was decide that I wanted it to be on a white backdrop. So I have a little bit of white bounce board that I've used for different things, for bouncing light, etc. I placed this on the floor, and basically that was a nice clean sheet to start with. I knew the shot was going to be top down, so placing it on the floor was perfect. And then what I did is I measured from one wall to the other, and then found the center point of the room and placed a little marker on that bit of white bounce board, just so I know exactly where the center of the room was, because that's kind of where my product was going to be. I then got 2 light stands and put them each side of where my product was going to be. The unique thing about my shot was that I wanted to have the sweets pouring onto the packet like you saw. Now, to do that, initially I thought, I'm just going to hold up 2 packs of sweets, I'm just going to pour them, I'll try and time it at the same time. But I kind of wanted this to be a little bit more accurate. I didn't really want to just, hope that I poured them at the right time. So I wanted something a little bit sort of more calculated, something that I knew was going to happen at the exact same time. Now, chance has it, I found 2 little bits of cardboard that you'll see here. They came in like a delivery that arrived, and I'm sure you could make something similar if you wanted to, or find something similar that would allow sweets to fall down it like a ramp. So I got these and I set these up and basically just leaned them against the wall, and I sort of sat them on the light stands using some blue tack to hold them steady. I did a few measurements before placing these in the room so that I can ensure that the ramps were sort of equal distance from the product, and that they were at the same gradient on each side so that the sweets fell at the same speed. I then quickly realised that without any help, the sweets were all just going to fall over the floor, so I decided to basically just cut a groove into the cardboard. I was trying to think of something that would stop the sweets from falling down, something that was just lying around the house, and then I realised that if I found some like credit cards, well they weren't credit cards, they were like ID cards from when I used to go to college, and they fit sort of perfectly into the grooves, and they sat there themselves, and they were strong enough that the sweets wouldn't sort of move them out the way. So I ended up just cutting that groove, so then when I loaded the sweets on, they were ready to just be lifted away, and that would allow the sweets to fall and for me to get the shot. Okay, so now that the ramps were set up, I now had to place the product directly in the middle of my frame. Now I didn't really want it to sit dead on the bounce board, I wanted it to just sit up a little bit, just to give a little bit of depth. I know it's a white background, but that separation really does make a difference instead of just lying it flat on the ground. I didn't have anything that would really be small enough and tall enough to sit under the product that you wouldn't see from the top down shot. So again, I just looked for something in the house, and I found the cardboard tubes from toilet roll. I duct taped a few of them together, and that created a little stand for the product. A bit unconventional, but it did the trick. So now that the product was placed and secured with a little bit more trusty blue tack, I just took my lens blower and cleaned the surface of the sort of white bounce board just to make sure that there was no dust and there was no marks or anything like that would show up in the final image. Next up was putting the camera in place. It was obviously a top-down shot, so I used a little bit of a top-down overhead rig. That was basically just a mic stand with my tripod head attached to it and a little bit of a counterweight to stop the camera from falling over on itself. I wanted the shots to be in slow motion so you could get the most of the sweets falling onto the product. So I shot this at 100 frames per second. So therefore I needed quite a lot of light, so I knew I was going to have to set up a few lights to make sure everything was lit evenly. I started by placing a light behind the product. That was really just to kind of light everything. It was to light the sweets that were falling, the product itself, and just kind of give me a key light to make sure everything was nice and bright. I then also had another light that was pointed sort of at a 45-degree angle down onto the product. I really wanted this one just to focus on the product itself and bounce off the white bounce board to make sure that was nice and white in my finished piece. The only problem then was I had a little bit of shadow that came from the stand where my product was sitting on. So to fill this in, I just took the Aperture MC and placed it a little bit out of frame, and this filled in that shadow that my other lights were creating on the white bounce board. So I then loaded a kind of equal amount of sweets into the ramps on both sides. And that was the setup really. It was a little bit complex for the shot that I was going to end up getting, but it was a fun thing to try and work out from scratch. It was basically just an idea in my head, and I think they turned out quite nice. I enjoyed the shot so much that I actually decided to do it with another sweet just to get a different look. 2, 1. Once I felt like I got the shot the way I liked it, I took them into post and I just sort of straightened it up a little bit. I cropped in a little bit, straightened up the image, and then I did a little bit of colour just to make the white pop from the background. I did a little bit of saturation, vibrance, contrast, just to bring the sort of colour from the sweets out, and that was my final piece. So that's about it. I know this video was a little bit random, but if you're into sort of doing shots like this and trying little things that you might want to use in maybe some corporate gigs, but you want to try them in the house first, then I'd maybe give this one a go. See if you can have your own twist on it. You don't need those ramps, you could literally just pour them. I'm sure that would work just as well. I just had to obviously go the difficult route. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something new. Hope it's gave you some inspiration to go and shoot some of your own product shots in the house. If you've been sitting on an idea for a while, hopefully this inspires you to just go and give it a try, just to see how it would turn out. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to stop talking and I'll see you guys in the next one.